Throughout aviation history, a handful of tragic events reshaped safety forever. Each accident you're about to hear not only changed the industry, but also saved countless lives afterward. Today, we explore 10 of the most influential and well-known air disasters in the world. Let's begin. Number 1. Tenerife Airport Disaster. March 1977. Los Rodeos Airport in Tenerife is covered in thick fog. Due to a bomb threat at another airport, two fully loaded Boeing 747s, KLM, Flight 4805 and Pan Am Flight 36 are forced to divert here. The small airport becomes overcrowded. Visibility drops to just a few hundred feet. Inside the fog, radio communication becomes distorted and misunderstood. The KLM captain, under pressure from delays and duty time limits, begins his takeoff roll without clear confirmation. At the same moment, the Pan Am 747 is still taxiing along the same runway, hidden inside the fog. Seconds before impact, the Pan Am crew spots headlights charging toward them, but it's too late. Both giants collide in a devastating explosion, killing 583 people. This disaster led to major global changes: standardized radio phraseology, improved runway signage, and stricter cockpit communication rules. Number 2. Japan Airlines Flight 123, 1985. August 12, 1985. JAL Flight 123, a Boeing 747SR departs Tokyo. Unknown to the crew, a rear pressure bulkhead had been improperly repaired years earlier. During climb, the bulkhead ruptures violently. A massive decompression tears away the tail section and destroys all four hydraulic systems. The aircraft becomes nearly impossible to control. For 32 minutes, the crew fights desperately, using only engine thrust to guide the plane's unstable movements. Ground radar watches helplessly as the aircraft oscillates erratically across the sky. Finally, it crashes into Mount Osutaka. 520 lives lost, still the deadliest single aircraft accident in history. This tragedy completely changed aircraft repair inspections, hydraulic redundancy, and Boeing maintenance standards. Number 3. Pan Am Flight 123, Lockerbie, 1988. December 21, 1988. Pan Am Flight 123 is cruising over Scotland when a bomb hidden inside a cassette player detonates in the cargo hold. The explosion breaks the aircraft apart mid-air. Debris rains down on the town of Lockerbie, destroying homes and taking lives on the ground. 259 passengers and crew, plus 11 residents of the town, are killed. The world is shaken. Lockerbie becomes a symbol of aviation terrorism and triggers global upgrades in baggage, screening, airport security, and international intelligence cooperation. Number 4. 1983. Korean Airlines Flight 007. Amid Cold War tensions in 1983, KAL Flight 07 drifts off its intended route due to a navigation programming error. Unknowingly, it enters highly restricted Soviet airspace. Soviet radar identifies the aircraft as a possible spy plane. Attempts to communicate fail. A fighter jet is ordered to intercept. Moments later, a missile is launched. The Boeing 747 is hit and crashes into the sea, killing all 269 people on board. The international outrage that followed pushed the United States to make GPS technology available for civilian use, preventing navigational errors like this from ever happening again. Number 5. 1985, Air India Flight 182, June 23, 1985. Air India Flight 182, a Boeing 747, is flying over the Atlantic when a bomb planted inside checked luggage detonates. The aircraft disintegrates mid-air. All 329 people on board die. The attack remains one of the deadliest acts of aviation terrorism. Before 9/11, years of investigations reveal severe gaps in baggage screening and passenger luggage matching. This led to sweeping reforms in airport security procedures across Canada and Europe, reshaping how airlines handle high-risk flights. Number 6. 98. Swiss Air Flight 111. Swiss Air Flight 111 departs New York for Geneva in 1998. About an hour into the flight, an electrical fire sparks behind the cockpit's insulation. At first, the crew smells light smoke, nothing alarming. But within minutes, the fire spreads rapidly through highly flammable insulation material. Systems begin to fail one by one. Displays, communication radios, flight controls. The pilots attempt an emergency landing toward Halifax, but the cockpit becomes overwhelmed with heat and smoke. The aircraft crashes into the Atlantic Ocean just kilometers short of the runway, killing all 229 on board. The accident leads to worldwide reforms in wiring standards, fire-resistant materials, and cockpit smoke detection systems. Number 7. 1989, United Airlines Flight 232. United Flight 232, a DC-10, is cruising at altitude when the tail engine explodes, sending shrapnel through all 3 hydraulic lines. In an instant, the aircraft loses every conventional control surface. The crew, joined by a training captain who happened to be on board, discovers the only way to steer is by adjusting engine. Thrust, left engine versus right engine. For nearly an hour, they carefully guide the crippled aircraft toward Sioux City for an emergency landing. On touchdown, the right wing collapses and the fuselage breaks apart. But due to the crew's extraordinary teamwork, 184 people survive. Flight 232 becomes a landmark case in crew resource management and emergency training worldwide. Number 8. 1972. Eastern Airlines Flight 401. Eastern Flight 401 is descending toward Miami when a landing gear indicator light fails to illuminate. The crew becomes entirely focused on troubleshooting the tiny bulb. Unnoticed, the autopilot disconnects, and the aircraft slowly begins to descend. With no one monitoring altitude, the L-1011 glides straight into the Everglades. 101 people die. The accident becomes a defining example of human error, distraction, and poor cockpit task management. Today's cockpit procedures, cross-checking, and CRM philosophies owe much to the lessons learned from Flight 401. Number 9. 1979. American Airlines Flight 191. At Chicago O'Hare, Flight 191 begins its takeoff roll when the left engine suddenly separates from the wing. The pylon attachment had been damaged by improper maintenance techniques months earlier. The engine tears away, taking hydraulic lines and wiring with it. Slats retract on the left wing, causing a deadly aerodynamic stall. The DC-10 rolls sharply, lifts one wing, and crashes just beyond the runway, killing all 273 people. It remains the deadliest aviation accident in U.S. history and led to major reviews of aircraft maintenance, engine pylon designs, and FAA oversight. Number 10. 1988. Aloha Airlines Flight 243. Aloha Flight 243 is performing a short island hop in Hawaii when, at 24,000 feet, a huge section of the fuselage roof tears away. Years of corrosion and metal fatigue cause an explosive decompression, leaving part of the cabin completely open to the sky. Despite the chaotic conditions, wind blast and structural damage, the pilots remain in control and manage an emergency landing. Remarkably, only one flight attendant is lost. The incident forces global aircraft inspection rules to change forever, especially for older high-cycle airplanes. Finally, these 10 accidents, though tragic, shaped aviation into the safest form of transportation we know today. Each lesson learned, whether about communication, maintenance, fire prevention, or human factors, continues to protect millions of passengers every single day. Aviation safety is written in these stories, and their legacy lives on in every flight that takes off.